Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. I am Norjana A. Sura, Group 9 from Bsed English 3B. Today, I'll be discussing the Lesson 9 grading and reporting of test results, specifically the new grading system of the Philippine K-12 program, and how should test results be communicated to different stakeholders. Okay, now let us start to what is the new grading system of the Philippine K-12 program in 2015. Okay, so the Philippine Department of Education introduced a new way to grade students from kindergarten to high school. So schools don't have to stick to it exactly, but they can adjust it to fit their own goals. Okay? So the passing mark on test is 60, but on report cards it shows as 75. So grades come from three parts. The first one is the written work, the second is the performance task, and the third one is the quarterly assessment. Okay, basically, the Philippine K-12 program uses a competency-based grading system, wherein this means your grade reflects how well you've mastered the learning objectives for each subject. Okay, so how grades are calculated. Okay, so your final grade is calculated using three components. This is what I mentioned a while ago: the written work, performance task, and the quarterly assessment, wherein each component has a different way depending on the subject. In getting the total score of each component, we have to consider two things. Okay, so these are the raw score and the highest possible score. And now let's see or discuss the steps. Okay, so steps to calculate grades. The first step is get total scores. Okay, so we are going to add up all the test scores for each type of work, like assessment or the exam. Okay, so here's the example. The total score of the students for the written report is 140 over 165. Okay, then so for the performance task, she got 92 over 125, and for the quarterly assessment, she got 38 over 50. Okay, so the step 2, we are going to convert to percentage. Okay, so change the total score to a percentage. Okay, so step 2 is after we get the total score of each component, we are now going to get the percentage of each component using the formula for the percentage score. So score is equal to the total raw score divided by the total highest possible score times 100. Okay, so let's have an example here. Okay, so in written report, the total raw score is 140. So we are going to divide by 165 and then multiply by 100. It is equal to 84.85. Okay, so and the next is the performance task percentage. Performance task percentage score is equal to 92 divided by 125 and multiply to 100, and we have 73.6. So we'll do the same to the quarterly assessment. And now we are moving to step 3. Multiply this percentage by the importance of each type of work to get the weighted score. Okay, in this step, we are going to convert the percentage scores to the weighted scores using the formula of weighted scores. Okay? So the weighted score is equal to percentage score times weighted component. But first, of course, you need to identify the weighted component of each component of the K-12 grading system. Okay? And let's have an example here. Okay, let's start to written work. So the weighted score is equal to 84.85 times 30%. So we got 25.46%. Okay, so yan yung process na gagayahin nyo until sa quarterly assessment and so on and so forth. Okay, so basically that's the process on how we convert percentage score into the weighted score. Now let's proceed to step 4, add scores for final grade. So in combining the weighted score to find the final initial grade, we should get the initial grade by simply adding the weighted score of each component. For instance, dito sa written work, we have 25.46, and for the performance task, we have 36.8, and sa quarterly assessment, 15.2. So once we add that score, the result will be 77.46. So this will be the initial grade. Okay? So for step 5, transmute to quarter grade. So we're going to adjust the final grade using a special chart to get the quarterly grade. Okay? So after our computation to the initial grade, we are now going to transmute it using the transmutation table in the accordance to the transmutation table in the accordance to the transmutation table. Okay, so the equivalent of 77.46 is 85. Okay, so that's how we compute quarterly grade. So I will show you the transmute example. Okay, so here's the weights for the 3 components for grade 1 to grade 10. Senior high school weights, the way grades are weighted changes a little for senior high school based on what you are studying, such as the core subjects or the technical vocational tracks. Okay, for the subject like music, arts, PE, and health, or it is also known as MAPE, students get separate grades. Okay, and these are average to get the final grade for this subject. Okay, so for quarter grade for MAPE is equals to quarter grade for music plus quarter grade for arts plus quarter grade for PE plus quarter grade for health. So pag nakuha mo na yung total nun, you are going to divide it in 4. Okay? So that's how you get your grade in MAPE. And now let's proceed to calculating final grades. Okay, in computing final grades, you're just going to add your grades to the specific subject every quarter. Then divide it in 4. So, divide mo lang siya sa 4 yung grade mo every quarter. So, that will be your final grade. Okay? So, once we apply this computation process in all, we can be able to get all of the final grades in each learning areas. So when the final grades is all done, we can now compute the general average. Okay? Once the final grades is all done, we can now compute the general average. Okay? So dito, you're just going to add all of your grades in final, then divide it to the number of the subjects or kung ilan yung dami ng subject na yun. So after mo siya ma-divide, yun na yung general average mo.
Okay, so here's the learner's progress report. Okay, so how should test results be communicated to different stakeholders? Test results should be shared with students, parents, and other important people because they provide feedback on how well students are doing. This feedback helps students understand what they need to work on to improve their learning. It is important for teachers to communicate these results clearly and effectively so that everyone can understand. Okay? For test results to help students improve, there needs to be a good reporting system. This means that teachers should have clear guidelines on how to explain test scores. If the results aren't communicated well, they won't be helpful for learning and improvement. First thing is it is important to explain this or why tests are given and what they are meant to assess. This is crucial for big exams that affect promotions or placements, wherein students and parents should understand that tests are only one way to measure how students are doing and not the sole basis for assessment. Second, the meaning of test scores should be clearly explained. For tests that compare students to others, terms like percentile rank and the standard scores should be explained. For tests based on specific criteria, the standards should be clarified so everyone can understand what the scores means. And then lastly, students and parents need to understand what the scores means for students' performance. Teachers can explain how students are doing in comparison to their peers and identify areas where they are doing well or may need improvement. Okay, so that's the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for watching and have a nice day.